So tell me this, fam, how does a man who already cheated death once, fought the system for over a decade, and walked out of prison to a second chance, end up dead the very moment a judge slams down a life sentence? Coincidence? Or the kind of scripted irony only America's justice system could write? Because today, we're talking about Young Thug's brother, Quantavious Unfunk Greer, the man who went from rap star in the making to walking cautionary tale faster than you can say YSL. And now, according to courthouse whispers and a flood of viral inside reports, Unfunk didn't just lose his freedom, he lost his life. Yeah, you heard me right. Dead. After the verdict. No appeals, no second chances, no YSL reunion tour. Just silence. But here's the kicker. Was this just another tragic chapter in Atlanta's endless courtroom soap opera? Or was there something way darker going on behind those prison walls? Mysterious witnesses, shady guards, hidden medical records, and a whole lot of questions that nobody in power wants answered. Strap in, fam, because this story isn't just about one man dying, it's about corruption, betrayal, and the ugly truth they don't want you to see. Alright, let's start peeling back the layers of this messy onion. Because trust me, fam, this ain't just your average courtroom drama, it's Atlanta's very own Game of Thrones, but with more RICO charges and way less dragons. The headline everyone's screaming is simple: Young Thug's brother, Quantavious Unfunk Greer, is gone after a life sentence verdict. But before we get lost in the tragedy, let's not forget who we're talking about here. This ain't some quiet church boy who accidentally crossed the street on a red light. No, this is a man who's been dancing with the justice system since flip phones were still hot. Unfunk's rap sheet reads like a mixtape nobody asked for. 2007, involved in a robbery gone wrong that ended with a man dead. 2010, convicted of murder, slapped with a life sentence. 2019, boom, Young Thug swoops in with legal Avengers level lawyers, conviction overturned, and suddenly Unfunk is free. The prodigal brother returns. 2022, right back in the spotlight thanks to the YSL RICO circus, where prosecutors tried turning a record label into a gang war documentary. And let's not sugarcoat it, Unfunk didn't exactly play the hero in that saga. He copped a plea deal, promised to stay clean, promised no more guns, no more street nonsense, and oh yeah, promised to stay away from his own superstar brother, unless a lawyer said it was okay. Cute, right? But if you've been following the saga, you already know how that went. Just months later, our boy couldn't resist hopping back into the streets with tinted windows, weed smoke, and a shiny Glock riding shotgun. Cops said the smell hit them before they even saw him. Probation revoked. 9 years slapped down like a bad hand of no dot. And here's the kicker. Fam, while all of us were laughing at his snitching clause in the plea deal, whispering if he really told on Thug or not, the system was quietly sharpening its knife. Because fast forward to the verdict day, life sentence, zero leniency. And just like that, the same courtroom that once gave him freedom handed him a one-way ticket to the grave. Now, pause right there. Do we really think this was just about justice? About some judge finally getting tired of seeing Unfunk's face pop up like a bad rerun? Or was there something bigger at play, something involving power, politics, and yes, even the billion-dollar hip-hop machine that would rather see Young Thug isolated and broken than free and thriving? Because listen closely, courthouse insiders say Unfunk didn't even make it past processing before medical complications took him out. Medical complications? The man was healthy enough to perform at shows, drop music, and beef online, but suddenly, right after a life sentence, his heart just gave out. Yeah, okay, and I'm the tooth fairy. Which begs the question, if it wasn't natural, what really happened in those hours after the verdict? So let's talk about those hours after the verdict, because that's where the story goes from courtroom tragedy to full-blown conspiracy thriller. And trust me, fam, the plot twists here make Netflix crime docs look like Disney Channel reruns. According to leaked intake reports that mysteriously disappeared from the Fulton County records, Unfunk was transferred straight from the courthouse to a holding facility. Standard procedure, right? Except here's where it gets sketchy. Multiple sources where the cameras inside that facility were offline for maintenance that very night. Offline? Really? What is this? A bad mob movie? The one night Young Thug's brother gets sentenced, and suddenly the cameras need a nap? But wait, it gets even better. An anonymous guard, who will call Officer X because apparently everyone in these scandals needs a comic book name, spilled that Unfunk was taken to a medical wing even though he had zero health complaints, no seizures, no chest pains, not even a headache. Yet somehow, within hours, the official story was Unfunk suffered a sudden medical collapse. Translation, they expect us to believe the man just dropped dead like a Wi-Fi router. When the power cuts, and the public, oh, they went nuclear. Twitter or X, or whatever Elon calls it this. We turned into a war zone of hashtags. Hashtag Unfunk was silenced. #YSL set up. Hashtag Free to Kevin Hart were everywhere. One viral post showed a Monopoly board where Go to Jail was replaced with Go to Funeral Home. Another had Young Thug photoshopped as Scarface screaming, "First they take my label, now they take my brother." Dark humor. Yeah, but the internet doesn't miss. Meanwhile, fake leaked audio started circulating on Reddit, a distorted voice claiming to be a prison nurse, saying she overheard staff arguing about making an example out of him. Totally unverified, probably some kid with a voice changer, but it only added fuel to the fire. And here's where it gets really interesting. Follow the money. Days before the verdict, Unfunk allegedly signed away his publishing rights to a third-party investment group based in Miami. Wanna guess who they're rumored to be connected to? Yet the same suits who've been circling YSL's catalog like vultures at ABBQ. Coincidence? Please. The streets are saying Unfunk wasn't just sentenced, he was silenced. Too many secrets about plea deals. Too much inside knowledge about how the state built its RICO case against Young Thug. If you take out the loose ends, nobody can contradict the official narrative later. Simple, clean, effective. But the controversy didn't stop at fans. Even celebrities started chiming in. Boosie jumped on Instagram Live, yelling, "Man, this system dirty. Bruh, they couldn't beat Thug, so they killing off his family." Meanwhile, 21 Savage dropped a cryptic tweet. "The closer you get to the truth, the shorter your story gets." Chilling. If you ask me, so what we're left with is this: a dead rapper, no footage, a sketchy medical report, and a justice system shrugging like it's just another Tuesday. But if the scandal is this deep, what's the fallout going to look like? What's the fallout going to look like? Well, fam, let me paint you a picture because the ripple effects from Unfunk's so-called medical collapse are already shaking Atlanta like an aftershock. First off, let's talk government investigations. Less than 24 hours after Unfunk's death hit the blogs, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation allegedly opened an internal inquiry into the facility. Fancy words for "we're gonna pretend" to check our own homework. And you know what always happens in those cases: a bunch of suits shuffle papers around. A report magically clears everyone of wrongdoing, and the public gets gaslighted into thinking it was just bad luck. But here's the twist. According to one inside leak from a courthouse clerk, federal agents have been sniffing around too. That's right, feds. The rumor. They think Unfunk's death could tie into witness tampering and racketeering of the justice system itself. Imagine that RICO charges, but against the people who invented RICO. The irony writes itself. And what about the music industry? Oh, they're panicking. Remember that shady Miami group that scooped up Unfunk's publishing rights days before his verdict? Now they're being accused of laundering royalties through offshore accounts. Some online sleuths even claim the paperwork trails back to the same hedge fund that once tried to buy Taylor Swift's masters. Yeah, this isn't just gangsters and rappers anymore. This is Wall Street in the trap. Meanwhile, Young Thug's legal team is seizing the moment. In a fiery statement, they blasted the state for failing to protect a high-profile defendant and hinted at filing lawsuits for wrongful death. Imagine the courtroom circus that would be. Thug suing the same system that's trying to bury him. Popcorn sales would go through the roof, and the streets, they're restless. Vigils for Unfunk turned into protests outside the courthouse, with people chanting, "Justice for YSL." Local news stations showed candles, posters, and more than a few side-eyes thrown at cops parked nearby. Some fans are even whispering about a new Stop Snitch culture movement, arguing Unfunk wasn't a snitch at all, but a martyr sacrificed to keep bigger secrets locked away. Of course, politicians couldn't resist jumping in. One Atlanta council member went on TV, claiming the whole ordeal proves the city needs stricter prison oversight. Translation, expect another committee, more press conferences, and zero real change. Because when has the system ever fixed itself? And here's the final kicker, fam. Whispers say already slid into Young Thug's team's DMs, sniffing around for a documentary deal. Because why let a fresh scandal go to waste when you can slap it on a streaming platform, add some dramatic piano music, and cash in? So where does this leave us? A dead brother, a suspicious verdict, a label on life support, and a city caught between believing the official story or believing their eyes. Because at the end of the day, one question still hangs heavy in the air. Did Unfunk really die from medical complications? Or was he taken out as this video of a bigger plan to bury YSL once and for all? So fam, here's the real question: was Unfunk's death just another tragic accident? Or was it a calculated move to silence the one man who knew too much? You decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is bigger than Atlanta. It's about power, money, and the lengths people go to keep their secrets buried. Don't let the official story be the only story. Smash that like button, share this video, and hit subscribe, because trust me, the next chapter in this saga is coming and you don't want to miss it.